Hello, everyone. I'm Bala Subramaniam Ayas for me. Most people call me Bala. I'm the VP of Marketing at KITABOO, and I'll be your host for the session. Beyond the flat page, how AI generated assessments will reinvent the ebook. Very fascinating topic, and it's a very different topic from the regular AI stuffs that we normally get into webinars for. Right. Now, let me start with the confession itself over here because it's so much connected with the topic here. Every year I go through this ritual. I pick up a great book. I highlight it so much it basically becomes a fluorescent yellow brick. I feel incredibly smart for a week, and then someone asks me, "So, what did you learn from it?" And suddenly my brain goes completely fog. Well, the cover was good. Some stories were nice, but exactly I did not know all the information there. And if you have ever been in that moment with a print book or say even a digital textbook, you are not alone. We are surrounded by content, but real understanding and recall still feel fragile. Now, zoom out to students and learners. All right. Now, look into what are the things that they do. They do a lot of scrolling, tapping, watching videos. But a week later, a test or an assignment comes, and it's the same blue cover moment. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. Why? Why does that happen? And can we solve it? We'll talk about how AI generated assessment can transform an ebook from, say, content delivery channel into a thinking environment. So, like I said, it isn't just another AI plus buzzword webinar. This is right. So it's about talking serious cognitive principles and making them practically usable inside a ebook workflow you already run today. Okay, so here is how we'll spend the next hour. First, I'll have a fireside chat with our special guest, Kanchan, where we will dive into learning science behind all this, why most digital content fails to activate cognition, and what desirable functionality really means in this particular practice. We'll kind of look into that. Then I'll hand it over to Pawan, who will walk you through a live KITABOO demo, including how our AI feature can automatically generate assessment and activities that you're with your existing content. And finally, we'll wrap up with a Q&A. So keeping your questions coming into the chat, and we'll kind of we'll answer all the questions at the end. All right. Okay. Now let's kind of get started. I'm very excited to introduce our guest for today, Kanchan Shine. Kanchan is the Chief Learning and Innovation Officer at Hurix Digital and a true force at the intersection of learning science, instructional design, and edtech innovation. She spent over 20 years working across K-12, higher education, and enterprise learning, helping organizations move from more content to better learning. If you follow her work, you might have seen her A to Z of instructional design series. And of course, she's also a host of the podcast Cognitively Speaking, where she explores the science of learning and how it applies in the real world. On top of all that, she somehow manages to bring humor, clarity, and a lot of practicality into what could easily be a very dry topic, but she kind of really changes the tone altogether. So, if at any point today you find yourself thinking, wow, that finally makes sense, you can safely blame Kanchan for it. Kanchan, welcome. So glad to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Bala. I am excited for this conversation because, we're talking about something that affects every student, every teacher, every publisher, and definitely my 14-year-old who uh, is just another teenager and who's appointed himself as the chief critic of digital textbooks.
Nice. Radical honesty is their superpower, right?
Yes.
Very good. All right. So, Kanchan, let's kind of jump straight into it. See, Kanchan, I really want to kind of start with a very simple but brutally brutal reality check question over here. All right. Now, what I see is like publishers and institutions have invested heavily in digital textbooks, right? Beautiful interfaces, interactivity is there, multimedia is there, but we still keep kind of coming back with these questions to us. Engagement is okay with them, but in long-term learning and recall aren't where they actually want them to be. Very common complaint by most of the publishers. So I want to understand from your lens as a learning scientist and designer, what are we actually missing when we think about digital reading and assessment today?
Bala, when we see the ebooks and the digital books that are here today, that we have with us today, most of the time, and I know I've been guilty of it sometimes, we focus on improving the appearance of digital learning and not really focus on how do we make those cognitive muscles strong. Let me give you an analogy of fitness. Learning like fitness has two layers. You have the workout equipment, which is the content layer. Think think of it as that's your treadmill, weights, resistance bands. In learning, these are chapters, videos, explanations, visuals. Most textbooks or other ebooks have invested heavily in this layer. Prettier equipment, more features, shinier buttons. But then you have the actual workout, which is the learning activation layer. That's what builds the actual strength. In fitness, that's your reps, that's the sets you do, the resistance training that you do, the rest cycles, as well as the different techniques that you use. In learning, the workout is made of 5 cognitive exercises, and those are elaboration, retrieval, interleaving, spacing, and generation. These principles are the mental equivalent of lifting, stretching, interval training, recovery, and muscle activation. Right now, most textbooks, most ebooks give students the equipment, but not the workout.
Right. Wow. That's such a clear analogy you have actually put. So what you're talking about is students walking into the gym. They are absolutely admiring the treadmills, maybe tapping it and then leaving it without sweating.
Absolutely. And it's what my son tells me when I ask him, when I download a lot of apps and I get him subscribed to a lot of these ebook platforms. And he comes back and he says, "Yeah, all of this is very cool. It looks cool and it's got a lot of funk and all of these features, but my brain is still tired of doing nothing." So, in a way, we focused on building these fancy gyms. We've just forgotten to put the trainers and the intensive exercise that's required.
Very good. That's a nice way to put it. Like when you're talking about your son, something that reminds me that happened today with my daughter. Uh, so my daughter was again 8, and I was trying to do some magic tricks with her. And you know what she kind of said? I think this is like a term that they are using. She didn't believe what I did. So she literally said this, "Oh, that's a AI." I was like, how? Why you said that? It was like AI is all fake, so you did something which is not right. That's an AI. It's like a new term altogether, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting to get it from the kids how they kind of see this world.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm kind of much more interested in knowing more about it. Let's kind of explore this cognitive exercises, right? Elaboration. Let's kind of go a little bit in depth about it. We're talking about, strength training for understanding, right? And I'm assuming that, it's all, it's lifting for meaning, lifting the weights. Is that what we're talking about over here, Kanchan?
Yeah, yeah. So elaboration is, when learners explain concepts in their own words. And think of it is like lifting because your muscles grow only when you push them, right? So imagine an ebook where after you finish reading a section, the ebook prompts you and asks you to explain this in your own words.
Mm,
When you attempt to articulate it in your own words, you are putting that effort in your memory, in the cognitive process is going on to really assimilate all that you have read and restate it in your own words. So that's a great mental cognitive exercise that you put the learners through. You could also, have a prompt to the learners where you ask them to write a summary and compare it with another summary that's already there. Or you could, generate audio or video recaps and have them uh, revisit the same concept, but through different modalities, thereby engaging their multiple, the different sensory channels.
Yeah, okay. That's so it's basically we're talking about students' brain actually kind of does the reps over here with all these particular things, right?
Absolutely. And, as my son would say, he would ask, why is the book making me think? That's not my job. It should be telling me. But that's really where you transfer the onus and the agency and get them to, actually do the cognitive load of processing the information that they've read. And that's where the actual transfer happens from short term to long term.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. So that was elaboration. So let's kind of look into the next principle on the retrieval practice, right? I mean, we are talking about reps for memory, and I'm guessing this one is like the fitness principle, like everyone knows, but clearly people avoid it. Something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Retrieval is basically memory weightlifting. Every time your brain attempts to recall information deliberately, you're strengthening that long-term retention. You're going back, in the brain, you're trying to search back into that schema, into that node where that information is stored. And that's extremely strong. The more you revisit the path, the more
Mhm.
stronger that path gets, right? So that's exactly why retrieval is extremely important. And as designers, as educators, it's essential that when we design learning experiences, we consciously bring in retrieval during the learning experience. So again, in an ebook, this could be again having students read through section, but bringing up a pop quiz so
Yeah.
that they need to pause and they need to think and they need to get their muscles moving. It could be these 2 minute self checks. And the beauty is that if you understand how well they're doing and you increase the challenge level, then you're
Mm.
really like a good fitness trainer. You're not just having them do it at that same level, you're really pushing them and having them push their muscles to make this cognitive connection stronger. So it becomes micro training, small, powerful reps across a period of time.
Agreed. Training that becomes like you kind of probably finish a chapter, a few quizzes kind of comes in, multiple choices or whatever it is. The more and more we actually start doing it, it's kind of it's a micro training which is going to be sticking around with us, right? That's useful. Interested in know what's your son reaction when you kind of say this concept and
Oh, when when he has to take these quizzes, it's always about, why do I have to, why is it quizzing me so many times? Why do I have to so repeatedly take, the quizzes? But that's exactly what it is. The more you consciously try to retrieve the information, the less likely you are to forget it.
right. Very much concepts, very much of the concept when we used to be in schools, we used to have the surprise quizzes and tests.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then, like, over here, at least we know that it is going to come. Let's kind of be prepared on that and we kind of run that particular show that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. That's good. Retrieval practice. Let's look into the next principle. I think that is interleaving, right? Now, interleaving, interval training for thinking. That's what you kind of say, and we kind of guess it should be like a workout where the trainer is mixing up squats and push-ups to kind of confuse all the muscles, something that concept.
Yes. In both fitness and learning, interleaving is very, very important. If you think of it from the learning perspective, interleaving makes the brain differentiate between ideas. And frankly, we never do it as learners ourselves, and very few times do educators really design for interleaved practice or interleaved recall. In an ebook, this could be flashcards coming up, at the end of a chapter. But
Yeah.
an interleave quiz or an interleave activity is not just, hey, you've just learned addition and let me quiz you on addition. I will ask you on addition, but I will also ask you on the place value concept that you learned one class before,
Yeah.
right? Because each time you learn a new concept, as soon as you've learned it, yes, you can recall it, but I need to, again, deliberately ask you to retrieve what was previously taught. And the more often I keep retrieving it, the more higher, your retention will be. Duolingo as an app does a great job at this. Every time I open my app, I'm also on Brilliant on the app, and I love it. I do these math workouts on it. And every time I start the app, if I'm even doing on Duolingo and it's gone to a new chapter, it will first start with quizzing me about the previous concepts that I've learned, and then it gets me to the new place. Somewhere midway again, when I'm doing my checks, it always interleaves. So it's not just, hey, you learned this, I'm just going to ask you about this. Let me ask a few notches behind what you've learned and make sure that you are constantly doing the recall and strengthening the connections. So yeah, so in an ebook, it's flashcards, it's practice quizzes, it's activities that you can prompt, where the learner is really required. It's like a mixed bag of quizzes and interactions
Yeah.
for the muscle.
Makes sense. Like, we spoke about micro training and at the same time that micro training into a mixed set of sets. I think that's going to be much more effective.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't go to a gym and the trainer doesn't just make you do one exercise every day, right?
Yep.
They will ask you to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that because it has to be a full overall strengthening of all of the exercises and the muscles. And that's exactly what interleaving is. Revisiting and doing a little bit of all of the stuff that we've learned so that it's the muscles are strengthened even more.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Very good. With that, let's look at the next principle from interleaving space practice. I'm guessing this is all about recovery and coming back again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very much. Space practice, spacing, again, in training, in fitness training, you need to give your body, you need to give your muscle that rest and then come back for the next set or the next rep that the trainer wants you to do, right? So in learning, spacing strengthens memory through
Mm,
strategic forgetting because you want to rest your brain, you want it to settle, and then you want to revisit because that makes the connection stronger. So space practice is extremely essential. As educators, it's not about always about, hey, I've taught this and I must quiz on this, and it's a continuous uh, going in a very continuous flow, or resulting in cognitive overload. You want to deliberately space out the practice so that the muscles have time to relax, and then they can come back and retrieve what they already know. So in your learning design, in the ebook, resurface those flashcards after specific intervals, pop up brief summaries after a few days, and nudge your learners for hey, it's time for a quick refresher, right?
right. Right. Yeah. That's like the trainer who reminds you, uh, rest and return, not cram everything in one particular day and, lose it all. So
Yes,
come back.
absolutely. Without spacing, learning becomes pure fatigue. Just
Absolutely.
like with no rest, our body gets sore.
Very good. Fantastic. Let's talk about the next principle here from space practice. I think the next one is generation. Generation, we kind of talk about active engagement for mastery. So, by the way, before we kind of get into the concept of this, I want to tell to others if you're really enjoying how Kanchan is breaking this down by analogy, do subscribe to her podcast, Cognitively Speaking. It's exactly this kind of deep, thoughtful, and conversations, about learning and cognition. It's over there. All right. So don't miss it out. Go do subscribe that. But I'm enjoying this over here. Now we're talking about generations, right? The cognitive equivalent to trying the moment before the trainer corrects your form, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Generation, and like the word says, right, is when you generate or produce knowledge before actually seeing the answer. So you want to give learners the opportunity to do that. I remember we used to have a teacher who used to tell us, hey, it's you decide which questions come in the test tomorrow,
Mm,
right? And I think all of us as students used to enjoy that so much because we were like, all right, let's make this test difficult for the next class. And obviously, we're not going to take it, right? But the fact that I have to make those assessment questions means I have to know the content and I have to know what to ask and I have to know the right answer too. And I have to
right.
come up with the plausible wrong answers. So, in a way, it was a great thing that a teacher would do. She would actually make us sit, come up with these questions, come up with all of the options, and really, but in the, the byproduct of it was I felt excited that I made the quiz and I, made it difficult for the other class, but not realizing that I've really grasped the concept even more strongly than what it would have been if she wouldn't have put us through this drill. So, generation is exactly that. In the ebook, remember, it's not about always asking them the questions. Ask them to create their own quiz, ask them to draft their own summaries, maybe write their own objectives of what do you think this lesson covered? What were the four main things that it covered, right? Predict what's going to come next in the concept. The more you challenge them to think, the more they will assimilate, the brain will assimilate information and they'll feel more powerful. So that's what generation is, and
Interest.
as my son would say, uh,
Uh-huh.
why should I be doing this when, the teacher should have done it, right? But that's the beauty of it. You
Yeah.
make them do it, and it just strengthens whatever information they can recall it better.
Very nice. Very nicely put. Those are powerful analogy, Kanchan. Absolutely loved it. Uh, you know, content as equipment, right? And learning principle as the workout, and AI as the trainer who quietly nudges, guides, prompts into all the personalizations that we want. That's phenomenal. That's very interesting. Can we look into all the five cognitive exercises here once again? It's elaboration, retrieval practice, interleaving, space practice, generation. That solves, that answers the question and also gives the a kind of a solution to the place where we kind of started, right?
Yes, and the future of digital books, Bala, isn't louder, shinier, uh, uh, fancier books. It's when, as learning designers, we're able to build smarter cognitive, use AI to be a smart cognitive tool that really helps learners activate the mind and helps them build their learning muscle.
Beautifully said, beautifully said. Thank you, Kanchan, for this fireside conversation. This is just the beginning of what's possible. All right. And that was incredibly clear and honestly very energizing onto in terms of seeing things entirely into an analogy way. Thank you very much for that. And now let's kind of get into the second part of the session. And I know a lot of people, in fact, in the audience also been thinking, this sounds great in theory because with analogy we kind of have put it right. But what does it actually look like in a platform I can use today? Or is there any platform that really does puts all these concepts into one place? And that's the perfect moment for me to bring in Pawan. Pawan is our product expert at KITABOO, and he's also an inside. He's is pretty much the star showman when it comes to the demos of KITABOO when we kind of show it. If you are If you have ever attended our weekly live product sessions that happens, you've probably seen him in action walking through how Kitaboo helps the publishers and enterprises, how they create, secure, and distribute interactive ebooks at a scale. But that's just not what he does. He also spends entire day talking to publishers, training companies, and answering their multiple questions. Can your platform also do that? Well, a lot of that is pretty much there into it. Pawan, over to you. Show us how this actually works inside Kitabu.
Thank you, Bala, for a lovely introduction. And thank you, everyone, for joining this webinar. And we appreciate your curiosity to learn more on how AI can help digital learning. So, since Kanchan and Bala has covered the concept side of the AI, now I will focus on how we can elaborate it and how we can do the retrieval practice and how AI can enhance the digital learning. So, the last decade, the learning pattern were moving from the printed version to the digital version. But what next? So it's not a new technology, but it is about enhancing what digital learning can offer. And there is yet a lot of things to come. But yeah, right now we do have AI and we should make best out of it. So Kitabo is basically focusing on that. Kitabo has created a beautiful digital platform where publisher can host the content, distribute the content, whether you are a K-12 publisher, a higher educational publisher, trade publisher, association. Kitabo is one tool which is made for all, and now we are enhancing it by the help of AI. So for the same, Kitabo has created two beautiful tools as an add-on tool which can come along with Kitabo platform. The first is K.AI, which is basically used as an AI generated learning tool to assist the end users, that is students, teachers, and publisher, to either learn better or to provide a better learning experience. We also have Kitabo Fluid 360, but I'm going to focus on K.AI today. But Fluid 360 is basically made for the publisher to enhance their current content into an accessible content with the help of AI and human in the loop. So when it comes to K.AI, so it is made to revolutionize the digital learning experience. And for the same, we have three cutting edge features that it depicts. So if you have PDFs, so what can Kitabo do if you just have PDFs? It can enhance your PDFs into a fixed layout ebook where you can add videos, images, plus on top of it, you can also add quizzes. So whether like if you want to add multiple choice questions, flashcards, fill in the blanks, matchmaking questions, uh, Kitabo platform can help you with all of that with the help of AI, which is a proprietary LLM, to make sure that your content stays safe. We do not use an AI system which can put your content over the internet, and there might be a chance of piracy. So we have taken care of that. And the third thing is the user generated activities through which even the end users can do the learning. So the way Kanchan mentioned, that conceptualizing is good, but you have to elaborate it. You have to do the practice. And for that, AI can play a big part. So what's the K.AI advantage? It's a tool which is made for all, whether you are an admin, content producer, or if you are a learner or a teacher. As an admin, you can create content like the quizzes in bulk. So while I talk with different publishers, whether they are higher ed, a law publishing firm, or a K-12 publisher, they want to create the quiz, but that takes a lot of efforts, that takes a lot of investment, and that takes lots of resources. Then why not put AI into the play to reduce or to just take that efforts by few clicks? So that's what K.AI does. For learners, yes, you will read the textbook. If you have some videos in it, you enjoy those videos, you learn more. But how you can put it into the practice? You will not have lots of quizzes. So if for a learner, if they want to create like a test out themselves for one particular portion of the book or entire book, K.ai can help them to do that. And for teachers who wants to like provide a continuous learning experience for their learners, who wants to like challenge the students in learning better of what they already know. So they can also create different quizzes and shoot out at the students, and it will take a lot of it will and they do not need to put a lot of efforts to do that. So for the same, I'm not going to waste much time on the slides. Now I'll just show you how it how Kitabo has like put that into the practice. So this is the Kitabo platform, which comes as a white label solution. Okay, I'm not going to spend much time on describing Kitabo. So right now it is in Kitabo branding, but once you license it, it will be in your own branding. So this is how the bookshelf look like. You will have different categories. So if you have a large amount of books, then you can bifurcate them based on categories. So users can easily search through the bookshelf and find the right books that they are searching for. They can also search via keywords, author, title. They can mark their books as favorite. They can mark book. They can also see the recently viewed book. So if I want to like show how K.ai has uh, is working has given a better experience to the end user, I'll just open a book. Let me just turn off my videos for better bandwidth. So yeah, so this is how the book experience is on Kitabo platform. This was a PDF which got uploaded on Kitabo platform, and since Kitabo let users or publishers to create an interactive uh, ebook, so you can add slideshows into the ebook. If you want to add videos, you will be able to do that. This is how the video will look like. You can embed the video as well. You can upload it or link it, and then I'll talk about the K.ai. So K.ai is very simple. Right now, I'm logged in as a student. I will be able, since I have opened the book, I have read the book. Now I want to learn more on the content, or I want to test myself. But K.ai is not just limited to that. If you want to create a learning objective or create a summary, or maybe few multiple choice questions, multiple select in multiple choice questions, or some flashcard, I can select all. I can click on next. I can select the level of complexity as well, whether I want a basic complex question or like tough ones or really tough one. So I'll just go ahead with the intermediate, and then I'll click on next. Here I will be asked like for which portion you want to test yourself. So I can select the entire book, or I can select few chapters as well. So I can just select chapter 1, 2, 3, and then click on generate. Now, AI will do its own magic and create the summary of all those 3 chapters, learning objectives, and the activities that I asked for. So the flashcards. So I have been asked like how to explain the term tissue. So once I click on it, I'll be able to see the answer. I will be able to create as number of AI quizzes that I want to create, but it totally depends on the size of the book as well. Then there will be multiple choice questions, so I can select the answer. I'm not a science student, so I'll just select the answers randomly. Click on submit. Once I click on submit, I'll be able to see if my answers were correct or incorrect. Since it's a demo, the correct answer is not visible, but if the answer is false, then the right answer will be highlighted in green, just like this one. So luckily I was able to answer 2 correct answers. And if I want to download this as a report or for my reference, I will be able to do that. And these are the multiple choice questions. So I can answer like multiple selects. And here you go. So yeah, not so lucky this time. So these are the kind of activities that students can create, use, and make their learning experience better. And at zero cost of or zero risk of being your content being pirated as a publisher. So this is how the K.AI assist users like students. Now I'm going to show you how it helps the uh, uh, teachers, administrators, or publishers in creating those quizzes effortlessly and without spending much of resources or or time on it. So Kitabo has two components. The first, which you guys saw, was Kitabo Reader. Now this is the Kitabo Studio. So here you can upload your content. If you want to make your content more interactive, you will be able to do that. You can create the customers account. So if you're working with different schools as a K-12 publishers, you will be able to create all those accounts over here. You can issue the licenses, and then access codes can be created. And if you are working with a school which has an LMS, then Kitabo also provides LTI 1.1, 1.3 integration. So basically, Kitabo can be integrated with all the major LMS available in the market. Plus, there will be analytics as well. So it will assist you to understand how your content is being perceived, how many people are currently accessing your content, which are your most popular titles, most active customers, how's the user interaction. You can filter it out on the customer base or even on the content as well. So when we come back to the content, now if you want to create a gradable quiz, you will be able to just select like you will have different options over here. So since I want to create a gradable quiz, I'll just select gradable activity. I'll click on create, right? Webinar quiz activity, description, a demo, category, let's say yes, and then click add widget. I think I've done all right. Okay, yeah. So once the activity is created, I will be able to add the quiz. So Quitabo has its own gradable quiz tool where you will have different templates available. So if you want to add title to it, you just, uh, okay. So go to the component, add, drag and drop here. The activity will be created. Similarly, if you want to add like group activities, you will be able to add it. If you want to add multiple choice questions, image labeling questions, fill in the blanks, you will be able to manually create as well. Now I'm going to use the AI. So what kind of questions I want to create, whether multiple choice, fill in the blanks, flashcards, or even learning objective or summary. So here our focus is more on providing the quiz. So we'll create some multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks and flashcard. I'll click on next for which grade. So yeah, let's go ahead. 4. And now AI will ask me for which book you want to create the content. So let's go ahead with physics book. Yeah. And then here I'll be asked for which particular portion of the book you want to create the quiz. So let's go ahead with full book. And then once you click on generate, AI is going to do its own magic and create the whole quiz for the publisher or teachers who wants to either add the content into the book or like add the quiz into the book, and it will provide all the answers as well. So you can see that all the activities has been created, like which could take maybe hours of research and homework, has been created in like 5 minutes. So this is the multiple choice question. These are the fill in the blanks. You can also have the filling the blanks with drag and drop, where you can select the correct answer. If you want the users or the students to write the answers, you can have that too. And you can also have the flashcard. So this kind of activities can be created, and if you want to preview the activities, you will be able to do it by here. And since KITABOO provides web-based reader, iOS and Android applications, everything, so you can test it out how it will look like on different devices as well. So if you want to see how it looks on desktop, then this is going to be the view. If it's on a tablet, this is how it will look. And if it's a smartphone, then this is how the like UI will look on the KITABOO applications or your own branded applications. So yeah, so that's how AI has assisted us in providing a better learning experience and revolutionize the current way of learning. Uh, so that's all on how K.AI can work with different stakeholders when it comes to digital learning. Just go back just a second. Sorry, I'm new to this Zoom meetings. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And as a company, KITABOO, we work with like more than 120 customers spread across more than 25 countries, and we have a combined experience of 24 years when it comes to digital learning. So these are few of our marquee customers. We work with small scale companies, publishers, medium and large. So more than 6 million end users access KITABOO platform through its customers, and more than 2 million books are hosted on KITABOO. And when it comes to the volumes, more than 35 million API calls are made every day through KITABOO.
All right. Very good. Thanks a lot, Pavan. I mean, now I think pretty much pretty much I love the way how we have kind of gone from the theory to the practice in one session itself. Where we saw the principles, now we kind of saw how we can actually do it in practice through a tool, exactly bring in all the concepts in one particular place. Cognitive science to clicking just a few buttons and watching AI generate actual assessment. All right. Thank you very much. And to everyone joined in today, if your digital textbook is already look great, the next frontier is to make sure that they think great now, that they coach, challenge, and test learners in all the right ways. Right? Now, with that, let's open up the questions. I do see already some questions over here, and we'll kind of take one by one on that. Um, Quickly on that, I'll take up some of the questions for the subject. All right, Kanchan, this is for you. For subjects with heavy content like history or biology, which cognitive exercise tends to have the highest impact? History, biology.
Yep. I would just go back to the fitness analogy. It's not one type that you have to do over and over again. You have to do a little bit of everything interspersed in different ways. So, go back to the fitness gym and do a little bit of the muscle training, do a little bit of the stretches, do a little bit of the running, do a little bit of the cardio, all of it. So, if you want students to really be able to retain content, have them do these muscle exercises through different quiz formats, through different frequencies. You can gamify your quizzes. And, our brain loves novelty. So, keep changing the routine, because the same routine is going to get monotonous. So, change the routine, change the way you ask the question. Don't ask the question, give them the answer and ask them to come up with the question. All of these are great ways of training the brain muscle.
Brilliant. All right. And now the next one, I think it's pretty much on the same thing. How do we help teachers understand the difference between interactive features and true cognitive activation?
Um, Again, and this is something that I constantly tell my team, that when you design and you say I am creating engagement, it's not kinesthetic, which means click, click, tap, tap. That's kinesthetic engagement. You need to create cognitive engagement, right? So I'm not really clicking anything, but you're making my brain do the thinking and the analysis and the recall. And that's what is cognitive activation. So aim for the cognitive muscles and not the kinesthetic muscles.
Got it. Right. Another question. Okay, this is on the K.AI. Pawan, you could take that. Does K.AI help publishers generate learning activities faster, or is it mainly for end learners?
So it's both, as I mentioned, for the publishers, yes, it helps in saving about 80% of time that they are investing in creating the learning activities. And for the end users, it's kind of a bonus activity. So if they want to self-test themselves or elaborate or like do the practice of what they have learned, then they will be able to do that with few clicks.
Okay. All right. On the same line itself, we have a couple more questions on the K.AI.
Okay.
Will teachers be able to review or edit the activities that K.AI has kind of created?
Yes, of course. So, whatever activities that teachers have created, and if they have assigned it to a book, once a student submits the test, teachers will be able to review it. If they want to annotate few answers, they will be able to do that. So, yes, of course, they will be able to see all the activities done by the class.
Perfect. And how many quizzes can K.AI generate per book? I know you showed three, four, five, but is there any limit to it?
So there is no practical limit to it, but it totally depends on the size of the book. If you're putting a 10-page book, and if you are expecting to have unlimited number of questions, then that's not going to happen. So it totally depends on the size of the book, the level of content is in the book. So if it's a 1,000-page book, then the number of like questions that you can create will be way more than compared to a small size book.
Okay. All right. I think those questions are answered. We have a couple more. The question is, what challenges do publishers typically face when shifting from content-heavy digital books to learning activation design? Kanchan, you want to
I
try
can,
that?
yeah, I can take that. I think I don't think that there's a challenge per se. Um, if you have an academic team, you have a well-designed book, it's got all of the kinesthetic features. As an educator, I'm only just focusing on thinking about what are the spots where I want to, pause and have my students, my learners, my readers reflect, assimilate, generate, produce, recall, right? So, and when Pawan was explaining K.AI, in my head, I'm imagining myself as an orchestrator, the band master, and I have the book in front of me and I'm saying, yes, this is where we should put a flashcard and this is where we should do this. So I'm basically creating the direction, and I have this wand and I click on K.AI and it just creates the content which I review, I augment quality wise, and then I can publish it.
Right. So, in fact, the idea is yours. You kind of say where it needs to kind of come in.
Yes.
Now you have a tool which does it much
That's
more
what
faster
to
for
do.
you.
Yep.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I think we have one last question here. This is again on K.AI. Will K.AI work across existing digital textbooks, or does content need to be restructured?
No, so it will work with whatever current content you have in the PDF format. You do not need to edit it or like change it so the AI can adapt it.
All right. Brilliant. Okay. I think we have answered almost all the questions that has kind of come in now. If there is any more questions, you can actually kind of send it to us. In fact, we will send you across um, maybe a PDF of what we have actually learned in this concept over here to you folks who have attended, and also the people who have registered. They will kind of get a recording of it. And if you have any more questions on it, you can reply to us on those emails, and we are happy to answer any of it. And in fact, if you want to know more about what K.AI can do further, or what KITABOO can do for your publications, you can actually stay back and ask those questions here, or you can actually reach out to our email, which is support@kitaboo.com, or anywhere in our website. You can ask for a demo. We'll be happy to kind of show you the entire platform. Right. With that, I hope all of you folks have enjoyed the session. I absolutely did, especially when you actually teach people with analogy, it reaches much more faster. And here, exactly that's what we did. And we saw a theory and a practicality together in one particular session. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And thank you very much. And I hope you all have a wonderful day or night ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.